Oh my God, relax. Okay, no, I mean, you know that part where it says actions, yeah, start. You're supposed to do that. Hey everyone, it's so good to be here. My name is TC as always, and with me is the amazing business coach, and she's going to get to introduce herself, Allegra Jackson. But first, just brief concept of what today's conversation is going to be about. Why you're holding the data? Why do you think that you have to be the one person that will stop your own growth? Now we're going to dive deeper into it. Stop holding the data hostage. Okay, now that's huge. We'll be talking about a couple of amazing points that you need to put all together to make the end of this year work out for you, right? We're going to be talking about how you can leverage what you currently have, AI, your data, the simplest things that you always overlook. Okay, and what we need you to do is take your notepad and your pen, write some notes. If you have questions, drop it in the comment section. You can also send us a DM if you're shy and can't talk in the comments. Okay, that's okay. We accept the DMs as well. If you want to introduce yourself, also do that in the comment section. Let us know how you are stopping yourself, okay, how you're holding on to that data. Let's talk about it. As always, like I said, my name is TC Okore, and I work with service providers, I work with nonprofit organizations, I work with entrepreneurs like yourself to structure the back end of your business, help you leverage automated systems just so you're able to stop overwhelm, you're able to build capacity, you're able to build that sustainable income for yourself, for your organization. Okay, that is so much with what I do. However, we need you to pay attention while Allegra Jackson gets to introduce herself and take us into today's conversation.
Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the vibe. Thank you, TC, so much. Ooh, bug just flew in my eye, y'all. So TC, her and I were just talking earlier before we got into this live about this conversation today. Hey everyone, I am Allegra Jackson, the marketing medulla. I am a business coach and a marketing strategist. I'm an entrepreneur of many years. I love what I do. So when I work with women entrepreneurs, I focus on supporting them in clarifying their vision, making sure that they are decluttering all that business overwhelm, and also just building generational wealth. I love the fact that we are talking about just making sure that you are not holding your data hostage, right? Like when you have, wait, let me go back to the title because I'm about to forget what we're talking about, y'all, because we were very specific. When you're holding your data hostage, I want you guys to think about this. Every time that you get someone that shows interest in your brand, right, they are actually telling you that they want to know more. Right? Even if they're not saying, like, even if they don't say, hey, tell me more, right? When someone shows any type of interest, like, oh, really? People ask me all the time, TC, they're like, what do you do? Every time. And I'm like, oh, I'm a business coach. And I never really go further than that. Like, I hardly ever, if I do, I'm like, I'm a business coach and I'm a community leader, right? Because the truth is that the conversations that you have with people are supposed to be built, and data is collected along the way. So eventually, after just having a conversation, right? Because we know sales is a conversation. After I go, I'm a business coach, I'm a community leader. They go, oh, what do you do? Like, how? Like, tell me more.
Okay, so I think that Allegra just went off. So hopefully she's back. But just taking up from where she actually took up from. Okay, we'll see you now.
Y'all don't believe how much this live is disrespecting me. Hold on. Let me remove this from the stage. All right. So what I was telling you guys was that I personally, when I meet people, I feel like building a relationship is number one, because people are only going to buy from you when they know who you are. They're never going to just meet you one day and be like, oh, cool, you got a product? Let me just buy it. Okay, let me get my credit card out and just... It comes from building a relationship. And data is always being collected, right? So I told you guys, when people go, oh, you're a business coach, you're a community leader, right? By the end of a conversation, I go, you know what? Hey, Let me follow you on Instagram. Or let me get your information. You have a business card. Or here's my flyer. Let me get your phone number and I'll tell you when our next networking meetup is coming up, right? So when I say that, guys, data is being collected because I'm getting phone numbers and names and emails. I'm getting information about where these people are actually wanting to do things, right? Like some people will say, oh man, I need a business coach. Some people say, oh, you know what? I've always wanted to start a business. I'm always keeping that data in mind because the truth is that you don't have to poll people in those. Individuals are actually telling you what they already want from you. So if you're not collecting data intentionally, right, then you're not even going to be able to get to this next level of what we're talking about, which is holding your data hostage. So a lot of us are really good at collecting, like me. I just told y'all what happens, right? TC's really good at it because she sets up systems for you, and she'll have you in a process where you're on social media, you're sending out emails, you got a website, you have, a YouTube channel, you have all these things happening where you're collecting data from people because they're like, oh, I like her, right? Let me go ahead and put my information so I can get more of what that is. So collecting data is one thing, but when you get it, guys, make sure that you're utilizing the data right away. Okay? Like, how long does it take us to follow up with someone when they say, hey, I'm interested in your services? Are we getting the data and are we sending them a follow-up, like whether a text message, an email, a phone call, right? Are we actually following up with the data? Like, I look at it like this, and TC, tell me what you think. All of those emails that we've collected, all of those phone numbers of people that may have been interested in our services, all those people that see us on social media, just think, if we never follow up with these people, if we never actually know who they are even, then it's kind of like them sitting in a cage locked up. Until we physically get the key and open up the cage and go, let me go back to these emails that I collected and let me send them an email. So I'll stop there because that's the visual I got. Like, hey, stop holding all of your information in a cage, because the truth is that the people that I usually follow up with that I don't even think about sometimes, like, I'll give you one example and I'll leave it here. I know I'm being long-winded, but listen, y'all, this is the real life example. I got a client that when I was taking a Lyft from Atlanta to Marietta at our corporate partners location. Shout out to LaShawna West at the Lyft. And I'm talking to the Lyft driver, and she's telling me all things she wants to do. I want to start a business. I want to do that. No problem. Cool. Here's my card. Now, she followed up. She sent me emails. I sent her emails, right? Because I followed up first. Now, that was immediately me responding to the data because she gave me information. I'm like, hey, here's the link. Book a call with me, and let's talk. She booked the call, but then when the payment part came, it was a little iffy, right? She was like, that's a little high. So I had to assess the data, right? So I sent her an email. I said, no problem, just stay in the funnel. Because maybe you can't afford me right now, but maybe down the line, maybe when you get more serious, you might want to do more. So stay in the funnel, right? So I never depleted the data. I never held it hostage. I just kept it going. I kept sending her emails. I kept reminding her what was coming up for my business, right? And sometimes we don't even want to do that. We don't even want to send people emails to remind them what's happening in our business every day. I'm going live this day. I'm having a workshop coming up. I'm doing something special for you. If you want a discount, stay tuned. We're not even following up because people say no, and we're like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't send them any more emails. No doesn't mean no forever. And I'm gonna tell you guys, this lady that actually said no to me technically because of the price, ended up hiring me about 6 months later, I want to say. It was a while. After I was taking the same trip from Atlanta to Marietta to another Pop-Up and Create event, and she was my driver again.
Oh, wow.
Now, the first thing she said to me was like, oh my God, Allegra, when I saw you on the app, I said, I need to just hire her.
That's a sign.
Data is never wasted. If you keep data hostage, guys, you're not going to get the sale. You're not going to get the result. There's so many ways we do this. So, I mean, I'm just giving examples of what comes up for me.
Mhm.
And I want people to think about how they are keeping their own data hostage. Are you sending out the emails with
Mhm.
information?
Mhm.
Go ahead,
Mhm.
TC.
I know. I mean, I totally agree, and I think I resonate with what you're talking about. Um, I just to touch more light on what you just talked about, right? And then we go into why holding our data without action is basically what is stopping us from that growth. Now, looking at it as either business owner or career professional, whatever you want to title yourself as, right? What you currently have, you're just holding on to it. You're just taking it in. You're not doing anything with it. um this is in two ways for me. When I think about that, I think two ways. Now, one scenario, some people would be like, oh, I don't do digital marketing, I only do in-person networking. I'm like, okay, we get that trick, but listen to this. Look at the scenario, right? Now you meet somebody. Do you know that there are so many people who go out, meet a couple of people, really good connections, and they don't follow up, right? Now, the next time they only want to reach out is when they need something. Now, put yourself in that particular person's shoe. If you were the one, how would you feel? I mean, you're only reaching out now because you want something, right? Now, I feel like that's the same scenario with your inbound data, your emails, your calls, your whatever you have inside, right? And you send emails only when you think it's necessary, only when you feel, oh, I want to get something from this person. No, it's the same because these people are humans. The same people who are reading your emails are the same people who you walk outside and you still meet. They're human beings right now, and they have same emotions. It's blood running through everybody's, just different mode of communication line, basically. Now, we want to be able to understand that when we hold on to this data in quotes, and data could mean different things, right? Now, let me give you another. I've talked about data as email, talked about data as connections. Now, let's talk about data as what you currently have. Before we started this live, right, myself and Allegra were like just having a conversation, and I was saying to her, it's funny how most of the time we talk about all the amazing things that we have going on, right? And we're still at that particular space that we are in. I'm going to give you an example. Let's do real life examples. Now, I was on a call with a lady that I got a recommendation. A lady was recommended to me, right? And the lady was like, oh, she needed me to talk to this particular lady who is super talented, but she feels the lady is going astray. And so I'm like, okay, let me see what she has. Now, funny enough, this particular lady has she's super good, right? She's so talented. She can speak, she can write, and I'm not exaggerating. She can speak, she can write, she can read 7 different languages. Yes, 7 different languages. And it was so funny that I was speaking to her and I'm like, so what do you want to do now? And she's like, oh, I think right now I want to go back to school. And I'm like, okay, great, that's beautiful. So what kind of school do you want to go back to? I want to go do my master's. And I'm like, okay, is that supposed to be a trend now? And I said, why do you want to go back for your master's? And she started talking different things. And I'm like, girl, right now you want to build a life for yourself. Right now you want to build something that can give you sustainable income, at least pay your bills, and you're talking about, what are you talking about? And then she's just, we're on the phone, and then she's like, TC, what are you talking about? And I said, see, listen, when we start to understand that the success that we need most times are being deprived by ourselves, right? You're holding on to that, in quote, data, that talent, that thing that you need to be able to take that action. That is the hidden bottleneck, right? And so I said to her, how about you start to monetize the skills that you have? Because 7 languages is no beans, right? Now, how about you just start with monetizing at least 2? At least you're super good. You have certification, French, Spanish. Let's start with that. And then she's looking at me and she's like, will anybody pay me for? And I'm like, what? Did you just say that? And it then dawned on me that so many of us are the reasons, we are the hidden bottleneck in our success story. Now, I just want us to open our minds into understanding what data could mean. Because sometimes when we talk about data, um, we want to only look at emails, right? We want to only look at yeah, most times I hear when you talk about data, you hear, oh, are you talking about emails? Are you talking about social media? And I'm like, oh, right? Now, stop holding that data hostage. Stop holding yourself hostage. Stop holding what you currently have. Because at the end of the day, January to September, you've done a whole lot, right? You've gathered a whole lot for networking event, emails. How many of those cards have you actually reached out to? How many of those networking connections? You just go there, dress pretty, but you don't reconnect with nobody. So
Can I share a very transparent moment right
yes,
now? Because I
please.
think that people have to be very realistic about what's happening.
Mhm,
Like, I used to go to networking events all the time. And this was, a time in my business, guys, where I was very excited. I was making lots of money in my business. So it wasn't like I was like struggling at this point, right? But I was collecting lots of business cards, going out to networking events, meeting lots of people because I wanted to keep that funnel going, right? It was like,
mhm,
okay, let's get more information. And it came to a point where I was doing so much that I didn't have time to sit down with those business cards that I collected all week and
mhm,
actually put them in the sales funnel or put them in the marketing funnel. And
mhm,
here's what I thought was interesting, because when I was at that time in my business, I was comfortable, right? And I was making great money. So a lot of times we don't really become urgent about what we need to do with our data until we're not making the money. And they were like, oh my God, who do I need to reach out to, right? Or what kind of things do I need to do? Like, let me go to my AI tool. I'm desperate now. So
mhm,
that's what we do sometimes. But I remember being in this space where I was very, very like disappointed that um, I was so comfortable that I wasted time with reaching out to these people. And by the time I looked at their business cards again, it was a pile of business cards that I had, like this big, guys. Like this huge pile of business cards, like valuable information. If you look at each business card, that is an actual person that I could have connected with at the time of meeting them. And I could have
mhm,
literally created a relationship, a connection, a sale. You miss the shots you don't take. So I remember digging in my bag and decluttering. This was years ago because I always decluttered, guys. And I dug in all these business cards, and I'm like, I feel bad now because now I don't want to reach out to these people because it's been weeks. And I have held these business cards hostage in this little bag because every time I went to go put the information in, or every time I went to go reach out to someone, I was like, I'll do that later. I got time. Right? I want to work on my website today. Let me go post on social media. Like, I'm telling you guys, this is not stuff that's not actually happening. Like, we are actually doing this every day, or we are spending more time on things that are wasting our time when we
mhm,
actually have the data already, but we rather hold it hostage, right? Like how those business cards were all in my bag. And then on top of that, sometimes we are not clear in our heads about who we need to connect with. So a lot of times I was holding data hostage because I was like, oh, well, how do I reach out to these people? What do I say? Right? What do I say to this person that I'm trying to build a relationship with and hopefully make a sale from? And also it's the inner work, right? It's the point of how I felt even reaching out to them, right? Because I had the data, but I would hold it hostage sometimes. I'd be like, well, I don't know if they're going to receive me well right now. So let me just put that to the side. I'm not going to reach out to that person yet. I want something big to happen before I reach out to that person. I want my business and my brand to look really, really luxurious before I reach out to that person. No, let me tell y'all something. When you get someone's information and when you get data that tells you what to do, data is information.
Mm-hmm.
Data could be the information you get from an AI tool. Data could be information you get from a friend, a family member, a business
Mm-hmm.
partner, a client, a coach. Data could be information you get just in general from reading a book or looking at TV. Data is everything. And I remember them actually having a conversation where I know a lot of people don't like Elon Musk now, okay? But he's a businessman, okay? And if y'all don't like it, he went back to work. I don't know if y'all noticed.
Oh.
I don't know if y'all noticed, but he went back to work. He said, "Oh, my business ain't doing okay. I got to get back to work." That's what happens. So you got this man who, like he said it one time, he said data really is everything. And I think that started with Jeff Bezos, who is the owner of Amazon. And I remember he was saying that the reason why he started Amazon, which was originally like just a book reading company. I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember that, but it just started off with just like digital books, because every book you had to go to the library, you had to physically read it. He was like, no, make it digital, give people access. And he said that because people were accessing digitally to get these books, guess what he was getting? Information. He knew what they were buying, when they were buying. They were automatically putting their information in the system because you had this world full of people who were just accessing a digital space they never been in before. And now they're like, whatever information you need, I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you my name, my phone number, my email. I'm going to sign up for whatever you got. And so when you look at companies right now, they're always collecting data, but they don't hesitate. They don't hesitate to send you that email. They don't hesitate to reach out by a phone call. I get phone calls all the time from these AI bots, and they're like, "Hey, have you heard that the government now has?" And I'm like, "What? Like, what are you just soliciting through AI now?" So people are collecting data every day, and they're utilizing it, and they're not afraid to reach out. So I believe that as a woman entrepreneur, as a Black entrepreneur, and as someone who is already limited in a space where, I hear people all the time, I don't know where to get the money. I don't know where to get the grants. I don't know where to get the accelerators. Well, let me tell you guys something. If you use data as a tool to say, hey, where do I get that information? Which could be something as simple as how I told TC before this call. I said, people are not using AI to their benefit enough. And we hear it all the time, right? Start using AI, start using AI. But I have literally applied for grants. I have literally gotten clients through accelerators because these actual places are out there. But if you're not looking for the information, then you're pretty much just kind of like, walking blind. So it's not always just about holding it hostage for yourself, right? Because sometimes you just don't have the information. That's a whole nother part of it, TC, because you even said it. We can have a whole series about this. The data you already have, get it out there, right? Get the information about your business out there. Talk to the clients that have already given you business cards and phone numbers and emails, right? Start actually doing business and using the information to your benefit, but also make sure that you know data, which the more information you have, which I said, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, they said data runs the world. Why? Because they know. They are there. They're successful, and they've been successful because they've used data to do it. So that's why we have to be very, very clear. And this is the last thing I'll say, TC. I had a lot to say today, huh? That's the last thing I'll say.
No, but it's good. I love everything that's coming out. So yeah, keep going.
Yeah, no. I was just saying the last thing is this is really important because a lot of people, they're assuming.
Mm-hmm.
This is the biggest thing that I've witnessed. I told TC how many, new clients came to me and like, I'm selective, but I'm also being very, very attentive.
Mm-hmm.
We are actually assuming instead of looking at the data. So that's the last thing I'll say, because I think we're scared to pick up the business card and look at it and see how we connect, even if it's something we have never done before. Yeah. So utilize the data, guys. All right, I'm done.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it can be very overwhelming when you get all of this raw numbers, raw data. You have all of them together, and then you let it pile up. It can get very overwhelming. I mean, that's why I do what I do, right? Build the systems, build the structure, so it's not overwhelming for you to get to use it. But while you were speaking, Allegra, a thought came to me. And okay, now we'll talk about, oh, don't hold up to your data, right? Or stop holding on to like the data and all of that. It's the maybe the issues you're having. That's the major chunk of, or rather, that's a core factor that is stopping your success, right? I'm saying in my head, what would you want to hear, right? What can be like that one solution that you feel you can do like right now, because we're almost closing up, right? And while Allegra was speaking, I said to myself, how about I, so you know that this is possible? Because sometimes when we talk and then it's like, oh, they're just talking about it because they know how to do it. I remember, I think it was the last 2 weeks life that we had, and then somebody reached out to me like, TC, you all make it look so simple. Okay, now this is what I'm going to say. One simple way to help you turn whatever data you have right now into strategy. This is what I would always say: have a key metric. Now, metric in the sense that, how do you tell this is working, this isn't working? The last time I talked about key performance indicator, right? Where you're able to say, okay, I'm going to use this particular thing to be able to say this is working in this maybe criteria or something, right? Now your metric is what you, just that one thing that stands out that you would use in then making other decisions. So this is how I would say you should go about it, right? And I'm going to try to give an example. So I would say that when it comes down to holding the data, right, sometimes we feel like, okay, so what do I do with all the numbers? What do I do with all the cards? Okay, now TC, I've gotten all of the emails. What do I do with all of the emails? This is what I'll tell you. You want to take one metric, right? Take one, identify just one, right? Now turn it into maybe like a decision making question for yourself, right? Because every time I think about using numbers or data, and then we want to turn it into maybe a strategy, right? Because that's what I would typically do if I was working with you. I want to use what you have, right? So, earlier before we started this life, I was like, oh, how about we use what we have right now to make sure that we end the year in grand style. And technically, what I'm thinking in my head is, what do you currently have? Okay, give me what you have. Let's turn it into a strategy that you can implement. Now, before I'm going to yield the mic to Allegra, I'm going to say something. What I need you to do is go back to all the data that you have, right? Go back to it, whether emails, numbers, all of it. Take it one step at a time, right? Now, instead of just looking, so for example, instead of just looking at maybe, say, your email list, for example, right? And instead of you just looking at maybe the email open rate, and you're like, oh, what does this even mean? And you just pass, right? Or some of you that just send out emails once in a blue moon, right? So for example, you want to take your email open rate. This is just an example. You can do this for social media as well. You can do it for Instagram, LinkedIn. Take your open rate, for example. Maybe your open rate is like 30%. Maybe your open rate is like 30%, thereabouts. Now, I would say that you should ask questions like, why are people, what made these people open? Why are people not opening? Okay, you want to be able to ask questions so that you are able to interpret your numbers or whatever data you have into a strategy you can implement. Because most times I see that the reasons why we hold on to our data is because we do not know how valuable they are to us. But if we understand that the gold that we're looking for outside is within the data that we're holding on to, it changes everything for us. Right now, for say, take for example, you know what maybe the open rate is, and you're able to understand it. It would help you make better decisions. For example, your holiday sales. So if you were selling maybe 30% profit before, once you're able to leverage, interpret, and then make better decisions of what you currently have, not what you don't have, right? What you currently have, your data, right? Then it helps you make better decisions. And in turn, you can see the result. And I feel like once you start to see the result of how powerful your data is, it starts to make sense. And then you're more encouraged and motivated to being intentional with your data, right? Numbers, emails, the business cards that you get. It would also help you. Okay, it would also help you not, for example, you go to networking events. You would start picking the networking events you go to, right? Understanding that not every networking event you must go. And then it gives you this clearer picture. Okay, so honestly, if you really are intentional about making the right decisions for yourself first and for your business, stop looking at what's outside. Start looking at what's inside. Let's start with what we currently have.
That was
Oh,
pretty powerful, guys. We're gonna end soon. Can you hear me good?
yes, yes. You were going in and out before, but I think you're
Okay.
good now.
Okay, good. We're gonna end soon, but I just want you brought so much up, TC, because the truth is our data is a reflection of what we are looking for. It's not
Mhm.
always just about the information in general. There's so much information out there, and I think that's what overwhelms people. It's like, where do I start?
Yeah.
But data is a reflection. The data that we collect is a reflection of what we're looking for. So this is why, even as a business coach, I'm like, well, where's your business plan? Because how do we even know what kind of data we need to be collecting? Like when we do the market research and when we actually collect the information from people who are your ideal audience, how do we
Mhm.
know we're collecting the right data? And I think that when we actually wrap our minds around how important data is, because the truth is that you made a good point, TC. It decreases the overwhelm when you know how to use data. And this
Yeah.
is where we want people to get. So, every single client that I come across, we see in every single program, guys, that once they see the back end of their analytics and they actually understand, like when we say data, like what we mean,
Mhm.
it's you can literally feel and
Yeah.
see the weight lifted off of their shoulders. Like I,
Mhm.
I can't I can't describe it. It's just like it kind of feels a little bit selfish to be able to do this and get paid for it, right? Because when I'm telling you guys, like there's something magical about when you're using numbers and information to say, I'm not going to guess what people are thinking. I'm not going to guess what people are feeling about whether it's me, my brand, my products, my services. I'm going to actually test it out. And we find this out a lot, guys, in the beta testing phase because we're like, wait, we can play around. Let's ask them what they're actually looking for and let's see how that data compares. And every single time, this is the funny part, and I crack up every single time. What my client thinks it is completely different than what it actually is. And so
I agree.
it proves that the data is going to win every time. So when and I'll end here, guys, because I get excited when I geek out about data because I geek out because data is what makes your business run. It keeps down the overwhelm, and it actually allows you to make more money. Because if you get the information that tells you what's working for you right now, all you're going to do is mimic that same effect until it stops working, right? You got a product life cycle.
Mhm.
And once that
Mhm.
product life cycle runs out, you're like, okay, that worked for a while, but you see some things that work forever. Like it's seasonal. One thing I'll mention is Planet Fitness, $1 membership. It works every year. Everybody wants to go into the gym in January, right? So by November, they got the $1 offer sitting on your table in your social media platforms, in your emails, and on your commercials while you're sitting in your bed thinking about what you're eating for Thanksgiving and for Christmas. and how you're going to lose that weight from January all the way up until the summertime. How many of y'all, raise your hand, still have your Planet Fitness membership that went from $1 to how much is it? 20, 30 something dollars for the monthly, right? And you still got it a year later and still ain't go to the gym. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Because I did it and I know it works. So this is what we mean by, and I'll say this one last thing, because when people see that that's what works, they go, oh man, like my mom said this, and y'all can tell her I said it. Okay. Because she just launched her second business recently and she's booming. So she's like fighting between being the CEO and the consumer at the same time. And she goes, man, I hate when they send me these offers because they know they're going to get me every time. And I said, well, how do they know that? Because if you feel threatened by someone offering you a good time, they're going to take my money. They can't take your money if you don't give it to them.
Sure.
But this is the point where data, it allows you to know people enough where it's not your problem how they feel. It's a matter of you connecting with them, because that one time my mom is going to go, you know what? I do need that. And she's not going to be mad that they sent her that offer. But they know enough about her to know that she's one of the audience members that will possibly buy. And that's why they keep saying it to her. But I'll end there, guys. TC, anything you want to leave us with? Because you guys can connect with us anytime. I do want to say this. I'll plug in this because I have 11 seats left where we've been doing a business growth and clarity intensive. I've actually gotten through the first round of students this month. Which is basically 90 days, right? I'm working with you. We're actually going through a process where you're looking at your business overall. You're seeing where you need to declutter. Maybe you've been building stuff for a while and you got all this mess back there. TC's good at that too. She'll look at your back end and she'll be like, oh yeah, you're doing all this and you only need to do this. And then also making sure that you're so clear about your vision in your business that you're not doing it for anyone else but you. Sometimes we find that we built the business because someone else inspired us to do it one day. Whether it was a circumstance, a situation, family, friend member, whatever it is, like sometimes we are running businesses and we're doing things because of someone else's desires and goals. And so I always encourage you guys, right? Because my intensives, my group programs, my coaching programs, they're normally at a pretty high value, right? It's because that's when we do the work, you get it done. But now I'm taking 11 more candidates where you get over 80% off that deal, but it's only 11 seats. So I encourage you guys, if you're really in a space where you're just like, you know what? I need to grow up in my business. I am tired of like playing small and I know that I need to do the work. I may be that coach for you and I may not. But if I'm not, I'm going to send you to the right people, partners like TC and Ajane here in the comments. Shout out to you, sis. All right, TC, anything you would like them to know and anything you have coming up?
Okay, so I have a couple of things coming up. But what I would say is that one, join my email list. Okay. We get to talk about all the things. I am also going to drop it in the comment section. So because I'm actually going to be dropping something on Saturday, so join the email list so you get the information. One of the first people that will get the information. Also, meet us here again. Okay, on Wednesday, same time. We want to, but this time around, come with your questions. Okay. Come with your questions. We don't just want you to listen and take notes. We want you to have an open mind, open mind with questions, just so we can better support you. These are opportunities that you get, okay, and you don't necessarily pay for, so you want to take advantage of it as much as possible. I'm going to see you all next week, and before then, I hope you have an amazing week. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, TC. All right, guys, we're getting out of here. Make sure you let us know in the comments after this live, and it's going to be on a replay as well. If you like the music in the background, we know you're playing around. And also, shout out to Miracle Moments, because we actually can customize our own music. We do have music that has been in a theme song for our Women Empowering Generations conference coming up next year. So for anyone who wants to participate in that, guys, I'm telling you, get involved with the win. We have so many things coming up. All right. I just wanted to plug that real quick before we get out of here. Love you guys, and we will see you guys next week.
All right then.